Well, hello everyone, my name is Passek, I'm a FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today we'll be tying a little bumble pattern. Great little pattern, especially if you're able to have a multiple fly system like we are here in Alberta. Actually, most of Canada, other than BC, I'm pretty sure is the only one with one fly. I mean, I've caught many fish on a one fly with this as well, but on a multiple rig, this one is as your center fly. It really does work really well. So it can be taken as multiple things. So all right, let's get it going. So in the vise, Hends BL200 in a size 10. Any small straight shanked streamer hook, leech hook, something like that. So that, and then for the tail, we'll be using some golden pheasant fibers. For the underbody, we'll be using some Semperfli Holo tinsel in silver. For the rib, we'll be using some Semperfli micrometal in fluorescent red. If you don't have micrometal, use red wire. For the hackle, we'll be using some black hackle, just some straight black hackle. And then at the front, we'll be using a little bit of this wet hackle, just hen hackle, just straight black. Okay. It's a fairly simple pattern. Oh, and black Semperfli NanoSilk for the body, for the thread. So it's a fairly simple pattern, fairly classic style of pattern. The colors are like it's just black and silver. So in smaller sizes, a lot of times they'll take these as a midge, a merging. These larger sizes, I think they're also taking them as maybe as a bomber, but also as other things. So I'm going to come back roughly where the barb would be, and I'm just going to build, just slightly build a, just going to turn up the light a bit for you guys, just build a slight bump here with my thread, and this is just for the tail, so the tail can kind of swing up. That's good enough. It's just a little bulb. Come to the front, take my fiber, hackle feather here, and I just want 4 or 5, maybe 6, something like that at the very most. A couple too many there. Yeah, there we go. And I want it about the length of the body, so about there. I'll just catch that in. Just make sure that it looks good. Yeah, that'll look good for the length. Come back right to that bulb that I made. Just get her tied down. You see how that kind of lifts that tail up a bit? Just lifts that up. Just gives that, keeps it away from fouling, plus it just looks better. Okay. Now from there, I'm gonna get my, where did I put my, keep losing my silver. There it is. So this is the silver holo tinsel. You can do this in, I do this one in copper holo tinsel as well. I also do it in a black holo tinsel, so it's all black, this whole thing, which kind of looks really cool too. But I find the silver is probably the most effective with the silver underbody. You don't see a ton of it anyway. Oh, you know what? I actually made a mistake. Hey, look at that. Rick made a mistake. Didn't make a mistake. I just forgot to put something in. I got to put the rib in first, because the rib is the last thing that goes forward. So a little bit of the micrometal. Like I said, if you don't have the micrometal, wire's fine. I don't like having the least amount of weight on this fly as possible. It's not that it's a floating fly. It's just I like, as much as I possibly can, I like controlling my descents with the fly line, not the fly. It's just a lot more, I know what my sink rates are, and I know what my countdowns are when there's no weight on my flies, so just helps me be a little bit more successful. So okay, so I'm going to come to about there. I'm going to leave about 2 hook eyes for the front hackle. I'm just going to make sure that I don't trap, there we go, don't trap that tail down. Overlapping wraps. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but if you can make it perfect, that nothing is seen through it, the better. Tie that off. cut that off. I just noticed that that little red is sticking out. Not that it's not going to be noticed anyway once I get the hackle on there, so I'm not going to worry about it. So now I'm going to take my black hackle, and I don't want it to be super long, but I do want it to be past the gape of the hook, so that'll do right about there. So right about there, I'm just going to nip that off. I can use the rest of this because it's a long hackle fiber. Use the rest for a larger fly. Just tie that in, fold back my stem, tie that in. There you go. And then if there's a little bit of stem sticking out, which there is here, if I can get it, I'm just going to nip that off. There we go. So now, I'm just going to take 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to come back. And I don't want to be too open. I want about 6-8 wraps at least going back. I want this to be fairly full fly. And then I'll take one more right at the back there, and then counter one full one right at the back, just to make sure I catch that back end in, which I didn't get. One back right at the back there, right there. Nope. Just gonna redo that back end because it did not catch very well. There. One more time, right at the back end. I'm gonna do one full wrap right at the back, and then I'll can start moving forward and just wind it through. It gives you a little bit of a color, but it's mainly to hold your hackle more than anything, right? So like I said, you can use the wire, you can use the metal, it's up to you. And of course I bumped the camera. Hopefully that wasn't too long, but I bumped the camera. Cut that micro metal off. Just going to make sure this is all tied down nice. Now I'm going to take my brush, because I have noticed here that I did catch a few of those fibers, so I'm just going to brush them out a little bit. Hopefully, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to take the piece of black soft hackle here, or hen hackle, just to get rid of any of the fuzzies. Tie that in, make sure all that stuff's stroked back. Just grab a hold of that and pull that in. There we go. Work it back a bit, nice and tight. Fold that stem over. Okay, here I like doing a half hitch, even a set of whip finish, it's up to you. Okay, I'll take this back hackle that we put on earlier. If I can get it off that way, I will. If I can't, I will just cut it off. There we go. And I will take my hackle plier, grip onto that tip, stroke back all my fibers on this. And I want, depending on how thick I want the dressing, at least 2, sometimes 3 full turns. 1, 2, I'm gonna go one more. Let's see what she looks like. 3, yeah, that looks okay. Just gotta shorten up my tying thread. Come in over top, catch that in, let it go, stroke all of this back and make yourself a nice little head. Hopefully you can see that. There you go, nice little head. Nothing major, you don't need a huge head on this. Turn whip finish. Cut that off. Take a look how it looks. Give it a brush just to separate some of those fibers. And that is your finished fly. Like I said, it's fairly simple. It's just got a little bit of that color in the end, in the back end. There's a hot spot. Could have probably done 2 or 3 less fibers. There's a few too many. Actually, I could probably just pick them out. Let's just see. Hopefully I don't wreck the fly, but I don't like having a heavy tail on any of these. That's probably a little bit better. Yeah, that's better. Right? And then, yeah, like I said, it's just a silver underbody, that red, a little bit of that red showing through with the rib, and then the hackle. So it's kind of a, yeah, it's like I said, it's a bumble. It's kind of a bugger. It's, you know, whatever you want to call it. So, but yeah, great little fly, really productive, especially on a team. So, alrighty. Give that one a try. If you like that, give her a thumbs up. If you've subscribed, thank you. If you haven't, please consider doing so. Getting really close, almost at 2,000 subscribers, which means there'll be a giveaway coming up. So, tie lines, everyone.